Hi everyone, I'm Hannah, and I'm here to talk about high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. These are just some of the ways that sleep deprivation and stress can impact on your health. But how many of us are routinely woken up at night when we're on call? How many of us have suffered from stress as a result of our jobs? How many of us have suffered from burnout or know someone who has? Ooh. This is not okay. Poor engineering practices can hurt the humans who are building and operating these systems. And when we try to transfer the processes and practices of yesterday on the complex to ever-changing distributed systems of today, the humans who build and operate those systems suffer. HumanOps is a community that was formed in 2016 to promote more sustainable practices in operations. Something else that happened in 2016 was Google told us how they do it. And they introduced us to the concepts of service level indicators, service level objectives, and error budgets. And I'm going to talk about these today because these really simple tools I've seen transform the teams who build and operate platforms at Pivotal. The reason that we need an error budget is because, my friends, failure is the new normal. Any system of any reasonable complexity with any reasonable rate of change is going to fail in some way at some point in time. We need to get used to this and we need to be prepared for it. And this is KubeCon, so I'm guessing that the people in this room are building and operating systems with a fair amount of complexity. On the flip side of this, reliability is fundamental. You do not have a product if your users cannot access it or if it's too slow to use. We can use SLIs, SLOs, and error budgets to balance these opposing needs, to embrace failure as a normal part of our work, but also to ensure that we have the reliability our users expect from our systems. I'm going to talk about each of these in a little bit more detail now. Your service level objective is never 100%. Not even the internet is 100% available. When you set your service level objective, you need to be mindful of the exponentially increasing cost of both time and maintenance of engineering, of the increasing amount of reliability in your system. Your service level indicator is how you measure this. A good service level indicator is unambiguous and user-centric. Simulating your user journeys in your product is a great way to measure an SLI. And your error budget is the inverse of your service level objective. It's the small amount of acceptable failure in your system. And I find that time is a really good way to reason about error budgets. Because if you look at the SLO of 3 nines versus 4 nines, you get an idea of how much additional engineering you might have to put into that platform to achieve that. If you're going for 4 nines of availability, you have only 4 minutes of error budget to use every 28 days. That's not even enough time for your on-call engineer to open their laptop and log in to resolve the problem. How much extra complexity do you need to introduce into your platform to be able to remove human intervention to this level? Talking about error budgets leads me nicely on to the topic of psychological safety. Honestly, it does, bear with me. Psychological safety is the belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. And Amy Edmondson found that it was a key factor in team performance. During her research in a medical environment, it was found that higher psychological safety correlated to higher error rates. But also higher error rates correlated to higher team performance and better patient outcomes. This is because the teams who were reporting more errors were able to learn from their mistakes. They were able to report their errors because they weren't afraid that they would be punished for talking about those. And hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. Psychological safety has been shown to increase team performance through learning from our errors and our mistakes. SRE practices such as SLIs, SLOs, and error budgets help us to embrace failure as a normal part of our work. So my hypothesis is this. that SRE practices can transform teams by improving their psychological safety. And you do not need to be the size of Google, and you do not need to have SRE in your job title to adopt these. Anybody can do this. The only way to begin speaking a new language is to begin speaking it badly. So I would encourage you to have a go. Set a realistic service level objective for your platform. Measure your service level indicators and improve them over time. Use your error budgets to negotiate the needs of stability and change in your systems. Because we all know that the well-being of the humans on your team will impact the reliability of the systems we build. We've come together this week to talk about technology, but let's also use this week to start a conversation about how we can reduce the impact of the humans who build and support our platforms. Thank you.